Compliments. So, what are you doing to get compliments? How to get compliments? What's the right type of fragrances to wear to get compliments? When to wear those fragrances? And what is the special occasion and how to dress up those fragrances to be able to get those compliments? This is going to be episode 2 of What Are You Doing with Your Fragrances? And we're going to talk compliments. Okay, so you know who this is, Davinci the poet. I do poetry and sim reviews. If you like that type of content, then please do the prestigious honor of liking, commenting, sharing my videos, also clicking that notification bell so that you can be notified every time that I release a video, and most importantly, subscribing. So so like I said, we're gonna talk compliments. We're going to talk about I have several fragrances right here, and I'm going to describe each and every one of them. One of these fragrances, I'm actually going to do a little review on it in the future, and I'm going to show you why this is my absolute favorite fragrance. Y'all probably know if you've seen my previous short of why this is my favorite fragrance, etc., etc. But, well, I can't really say favorite fragrance, but I can say probably in my top 10, maybe top 5. But without further ado, you know what I always say. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Okay, so compliments. First of all, we're going to do the simple definition of what is a compliment. I know you're probably thinking to yourself, why do I need to know the definition of a compliment? Because some people really don't know how to get compliments. They really don't know exactly what is a compliment. And I'm going to tell you that my definition of a compliment actually is someone who is actually intrigued by your fragrance that is not someone that you're close with. Like, because and I'm going to explain this in the video, but because my wife likes a fragrance, I'm not going to really include that as, oh my goodness, that is I include it as a compliment, but I'm not including that as like, oh my God, like this is an amazing fragrance because my wife complimented it. It's like, I expect her to compliment it, or my mom says that smells nice, or my sister, or my dad, or grandparents, cousins, people who I expect to compliment me. I'm gonna like shy away from that. But when I go to like a grocery store and the clerk says you smell nice or things like that, I kind of speak more highly of those being compliments. So first point is how to get compliments. All right. So how to get compliments. First thing you have to have is confidence in yourself. So if you don't have confidence in yourself and you don't think that you're attractive, you don't think that you are dressed nice, things like that, then you're not going to walk out in public with the confidence that's going to attract people to come and say, oh my God, you smell good. So that's number one, is confidence. Then don't go into places with the appearance of, I need for you guys to compliment my fragrance. Don't go into a place like that because you're going to seem desperate. Don't walk up to people and ask, unless you're doing it for YouTube purposes, like I would do it sometimes, but don't just go up into a place and say, hey, I got this fragrance on. Do you like the way I smell? Because then they might just say yes because they're like, I don't want to be rude and say no. So thing about it is you want people to organically come up to you and say, I like the way you smell. Or, hey, tap you on your shoulder and say, hey, what is that fragrance you're wearing? Because it smells really good. And that's the type of stuff that I get that I say rewards me better. So that's number one, is just have confidence. Number two is it all depends on the way that you dress as well. That's another thing, your swagger, the way that you dress. Because wear fitted clothes, like, see, this shirt that I have on is fitted. I feel like people are more attracted to somebody who presents themselves well. They're more willing to go up to that person and say, hey, you smell good, as opposed to somebody who has on a raggedy shirt or is not dressed well, got some socks with slides on. I've gotten compliments like that, but it's because of the whack. It's because my confidence was and my demeanor overpowered the way I was dressed. But if you balance those two out, then you'll be more prone to get compliments. So those two things are kind of like, hand in hand, along with grooming. Make sure that your hair is cut, it's nice and neat, beard trim, things like that. But those are the type of things too that I would say can get compliments. So moving on, point number 2 is how to dress as wearing your fragrances. So it depends on the fragrance, like right now I'm in a t-shirt and a pair of jean shorts, with tennis shoes. So with that, I would probably wear just, an everyday fragrance, like a nautical voyage could be a good fragrance, in the springtime, I'm not saying that you have to wear this because everybody can wear what they want when they want, but I'm not going to throw on something like a Kismet, which is that clone of YSL tuxedo, when I'm wearing just regular clothes doing everyday things. Like I went to Five Below, I went to Walmart, place like that. I'm not going to wear a fragrance like that. That's when I would dress up more. I would wear a tuxedo with that, a suit, with a fragrance like that. Date night, wearing something nice, taking her out to a nice place, with that type of fragrance. So, for example, like a fragrance like like a Creed Aventus, that's an everyday fragrance. So then I can dress that one up and I can dress it down. So, just kind of see what fragrance you have and then, kind of try to dress that fragrance up. Like, for example, I'm going to show you this. Versace Dylan Blue. I can dress this up just like Creed Aventus. I can dress this up. I can dress this down, So I can really wear this all year round because it's good in the fall, it's good in the winter, spring, it's good in the summertime. So this is a all around fragrance. But if I have a fragrance, like for example, I'll take this one, Wood by D Squared. Only really good in the colder weather and only really good if you kind of not really dress it up, but it's a good fragrance for like date night. It's a good fragrance for like your intimate settings because it doesn't project that good. And that's another thing we're going to talk about later on in this video. And that actually does bring me to my next point is projection, longevity of fragrance. It's kind of what I talked about in the previous episode. But that's another thing too. Depends on where you're at, wear certain type of fragrances. If I know I'm going to be in a widespread area, like if I'm going to be outside, like for example, if I go to like a festival or a concert where I know I'm going to be around a lot of people, it's going to be a big area, I'm going to need something that's going to project really heavy. So like a Versace Dylan Blue or something like that, or a Dior Sauvage or something like that, where I know that I'm going to be, have to have that fragrance spread out because I'm going to be around a lot of people in a big setting. That would also range more compliments. But for example, if I'm, in an intimate setting, like I said, I would get a Wood by D Squared because only my wife is going to need to smell my fragrance. She's the only one that's going to be complimenting my fragrance because I'm not going to be around a large group of people if I'm going out to dinner or something like that, which oddly enough, this actually got compliments in a Taco Bell drive-thru, which I didn't even know it projected that good. But at the same time, this is still not a fragrance that's going to just boom, like, like I said, like a Dior Sauvage or something like that. Also, like, even like test out your fragrances. I've gotten compliments on this fragrance here, Oud Vibrant Leather from the House of Zara. This is a smoky clone of Aventus. I was actually outside, the wind blew and it blew that fragrance in the person's face. So I'm like, okay, this type of fragrance I can wear outside because the wind actually helps it to project a little bit better. So, determine the setting that you're at, and determine, who that fragrance is for. Like for instance, this fragrance here, Gray Flannel from the House of Jeffrey Bean. I'm not really a big fan of this fragrance. If you can focus. All right, I'm not a really big fan of this fragrance, but yet My wife loves it. So I know that she's going to actually compliment me on this fragrance when I'm around it with her. I never wear this fragrance out with when I'm, going places and things like that, because I know that I'm not really a particular fan, because that's another thing too. You want to wear fragrances that you're a particular fan of, because you're the one that has to smell it more than anybody, you know? So, but I do this because my wife loves it. And so that brings me to a fragrance that I do actually love. I'm gonna kind of change the subject and do a little short review on this fragrance. Not the full review. I'm gonna do a full review on this fragrance, but I'm gonna tell you this is one of my top 10 favorite fragrances in my collection, maybe even top 5. And that's from the House of Grooming Lounge. It's Handsome Devil. You've probably seen me talk about this fragrance a few times. This is a sweet fragrance. It has a really predominant cherry note in there, but look up the notes and everything, because you will love it when you read the notes. But if you can find this at your rack stores for like 15 bucks, please buy it. It is more expensive online. I think it's like 60, 70, maybe even more online. So please find this at your local TJ Maxx or your local Marshalls, and you will not be disappointed. Also, they have another fragrance called Magnificent Bastard that's actually really good too. I do have that one as well, but I'm raving on this one because I think this one is it's actually better. The other one's really good too, but this one is just beast mode when it comes to scent. The projectivity and the longevity is pretty good on this fragrance as well. And I'm just raving about it right now. So I'm giving shout outs to the House of Grooming Lounge. If you're actually watching this video, then hey, I want to work with you guys, because you guys are making some really good fragrances. So Grooming Lounge, I'm really about to hype you guys up, because this is a house that nobody talks about, and they're making some very, very underrated fragrances. Okay, so back to your regularly scheduled programming. Okay, so remember, as a recap of everything that I've been talking about, number 1, you have to have confidence. Number 2, you have to dress for the occasion and wear fragrances based on the venue that you're at. Like if you're going to a wedding, wear yourself a nice suit and wear a fragrance that's going to complement that. Like I said, I might wear a fragrance like Kismet for men. I might wear a fragrance like, if I want to just wear an everyday fragrance, I might throw on a Versace Dylan Blue or, Creed Vintage style fragrance or something like that. If I'm just on a date with my, wife, I might wear a fragrance like Custom by Dunhill, or even like I said, Wood D Squared, something that, doesn't have to project really a lot, because I know I'm going to be only around her. Like I said, sometimes I have fragrances that just my wife only loves, and I wear it around the house because she only loves gray flannel. Things like that. And don't go into places expecting to have compliments, because you're going to seem desperate. Don't go to people and be like, hey, you like this fragrance? Like I said, unless you're doing that for YouTube purposes. But other than that, just remember that not every fragrance is going to give you compliments. And then not every fragrance that you don't like is not going to get you compliments, because there could be fragrances you wear that you say, I don't really like it. Then when you go out, somebody compliments you. But wear fragrances first and foremost for yourself. Yourself first, and then others, let that be secondary. Because, I wear fragrances because I love to wear fragrances. When I get compliments, that's a plus. I rely to you guys, because you guys need to know what fragrances can get you compliments. But don't necessarily go out just saying I'm wearing fragrances just because I want compliments. There's some fragrances that you can wear that'll get you compliments. Some people wear fragrances because they know that, they're trying to attract a girl. So I'll tell a friend like, hey, you want to attract a girl, wear this fragrance, wear this or something like that. And you might get some compliments from a female. But at the same time, have the confidence, have the swagger, dress according to the fragrance that you're wearing. Some people match the fragrance with their outfit. If they're, dressed up, they try to wear a dressier fragrance. If they're dressed down, they try to go real casual with their fragrance. So these are just some tips and tricks. If you have any more tips and tricks about compliments, post them down in the box below. We can start a little chat, things like that. And, that's about it. So this has been your boy, Davinci the Poet, aka James Darnell. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I do these videos for you guys. Like I always say, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, that Davinci the Poet does poetry and sim reviews. Salute, peace, and I'm out. And also, God bless. Stay tuned for the next one.